from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, December 1st. So welcome to December. If you haven't listened to December's energy forecast as of yet, I'm definitely going to recommend you do so. If you haven't downloaded your zodiac forecast for the month, I'm going to recommend you do that. If you've already downloaded your Sagittarius season e-guide, I'm going to recommend that you flip to the page where we enter into December, but most importantly, where Mercury enters into Capricorn. We want to capture what it is that we are thinking about, what we're kind of being drawn to as far as new topics and themes. It's very important. We're going to have a major shift in our mental plane, and this is definitely going to set the tone for what is to come this month and how it's preparing us to enter into the brand new year. So, of course, we do have the moon in her place of power in Cancer energy. We will see the moon go void, of course, at 8:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're locking into Leo energy at 11:01 a.m. So we're definitely going to feel that particular shift as we move from our inner world, from concentrating on the past, sticking to what is tried, tested, and true, to move into that Leo energy, a fire energy, the heart and soul, the spirit energy that is going to make us bold and brave and courageous enough to cut the cord, really pivot, turn away from what it is that we've been holding on to too greatly, and really opening up our head, our mind space, our heart space, to really going after new things. Again, allowing our heart space to kind of lead us into these next chapters. So there are 10 different aspects taking place here today, and 8 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon, while still in her place of power in this Cancer energy, is going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces energy. This is water on water action, and we love this because it is very healing, very cleansing, very transformative, especially in our inner realm, where we're kind of trusting our intuition again, where we're giving ourselves permission to really kind of move into la-la land, move into imaginary land, conjure up a vision, a dream, a new inspiration, a new motivation that we want to go after. Of course, this is definitely going to heighten our senses. We are going to be hypersensitive, paying attention to the subtle energies of our environment and, of course, the people that we are choosing to interact with. Overall, though, this is a little bit of a growth, a little bit of a healing spurt, definitely realizing where it is that, emotionally speaking, we are kind of picking ourselves up, dusting ourselves off, drying ourselves off from this water energy. And in doing so, we are more prepared to be present in this moment and to start thinking about futuristic dreams, visions, and plans. The moon in Cancer then going to interact in a positive way with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over our roles, responsibilities, structures, foundations. He, of course, is in Pisces energy as well. So again, this is some water on water action. This is cleansing, this is healing, this is transformative, especially in our emotional realm where we are building ourselves up in confidence to feel a little bit more equipped, well prepared to boss up into these new karmic chapters, into these new roles and responsibilities. Yes, this is going to bring us down to earth just a tad. We really want to be focused on the actual factual shift and change in our physical circumstance, but emotionally speaking, we're not running, we're not hiding, we're not trying to avoid this level up. Now we're trying to gain a little bit of emotional stability within ourselves, bossing ourselves up, preparing ourselves to rise to this new challenge. The moon in Cancer going to get into the boxing ring, square off with Venus. Venus is the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She's in her rulership in Libran energy. She's really trying to create peace and harmony, balance within herself, between her heart and her head, in her relationship dynamics that she's majorly focused on in this particular arena, and really kind of percolating on some long-term vision, some long-term goals now that she's had a change of heart. Now, of course, a square is going to illuminate tension and conflict. What is the tension and conflict, you may ask? Well, the moon in Cancer has us very connected to the old, very connected to what has been. And the Venus energy is really pushing us to have a bigger, broader perspective of understanding of where it is that we've outgrown certain aspects of ourselves, certain circumstances that old version of self had created. And most importantly, where it is that we are now recognizing where we have outgrown certain relationship dynamics. This is putting us in a situation, in a position where we are kind of being conflicted in our heart space, because we know that in order to move on in this new pursuit of happiness, in this new path, in this new challenge, in this new karma, we may not be able to take everyone along with us. This is a little bit of a reality check on where it is that we've had a change of heart, where it is that we are going to have to really do the right thing, which just happens to be the hardest thing, and really create a different relationship exchange with some of the most important people in our lives. Now, this illumination of tension and conflict is going to show us where change is needed the most and who with. Now, this probably is going to be a little bit hurtful, a little bit sobering, if you will, but it's putting us in a situation and perspective to really reevaluate who is supporting our growth, who is encouraging us to do what is right for us, and who is not. The sun, very much in the Sagittarius energy, going to be making an interaction with the North Node in Aries energy. So this is some fire on fire action. This isn't the best aspect, it's not the worst aspect, but it is putting us in a situation to step back and really contemplate where it is that we'd like to go from here. The sun in Sagittarius energy shining a bright light on where it is that we have to be open to doing things a little bit differently. We have to push ourselves out of our comfort zone into new foreign territory. We have to be a little bit more spontaneous, really understanding that we're moving into new learning chapters. And because the North Node in Aries energy is the path that we need to get on to reach our soul's next mission, our soul's potential, our soul's purpose, there is going to be a little bit of a blockage, if you will, in seeing how it is that we're supposed to move forward from this particular spot. A lot of this is really in our headspace right now, really trying to figure out and understand how it is that we're going to take some steps moving away from where it is that we've been and move some steps a little bit closer to where we desire to be. But the actual action is not going to be had in this physical realm as much as there is an emphasis on trying to figure out the actions needed in our mental plane. And of course, checking in with our heart space to see how that makes us feel. The moon in Cancer energy going to make a direct opposition with Pluto, who of course, the great transformer, is in Capricorn energy. Cancer energy, Capricorn energy, they share the axis in the zodiac wheel. They sit across from each other, but they very much represent safety, security, stability. The Cancer energy wants that in our emotional realm, in our private lives, where our home and our family dynamics are concerned. The Capricorn energy wants that in our career, our outer realm world, where goals, ambitions, and finances are concerned. This is the last aspect that the moon is going to be making before going void of course, and any interaction with Pluto, especially in opposition, is going to put us in a very intense choice point where our emotions are kind of getting a little bit turbulent. We are going to be illuminated to a little bit of a darker narrative in order for us to have a major change in mood, in attitude, in perspective, to see where it is that we could flip the script, where we could kind of turn that dysfunction into something that's going to work for us. Turn that pain into power and turn that darkness into light. Pluto, the great transformer, he does kind of trigger and activate us to think the worst in order for us to see the path to plan forward, in order to kind of visualize the best case scenario out of the worries, the fears, the anxieties that are likely going to be triggered and activated under this particular aspect. This is the shake up, the wake up to our emotional realm that is needed in order to take on a different perspective, a different form. Now, the moon is going to go void of course, and while the moon is void of course, again, this is kind of where things get shaky, where our fears, our doubts, our insecurities come up and really kind of put us in a state of questioning. But while the moon is void, we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information communication and how it is that we express ourselves, moving into Capricorn energy. So if you haven't listened to that astro forecast that I've put out there for your listening pleasure, I'm going to recommend you do that so that you understand the energy that we are working with for a very short and very limited time before Mercury goes retrograde and then we creep back into Sagittarius energy. Again, I'm going to encourage you to listen to December's energy forecast, that intro that I put out there, as that gives you a little bit of a summarized overview on the highs, the lows, and all the inner workings of all the astro events that will be thrown at us through the month of December. We lock in to the Leo energy at 11:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. A couple of minutes later, the moon in Leo is going to make a very awkward interaction with Mercury, fresh in this Capricorn energy. So this particular interaction is going to illuminate the distance between our heart space, the moon, and the head space, Mercury. Of course, both of these particular planets, and in this case, luminary, being in a brand new energy, we haven't even really got settled into this energy. And now we have the moon fresh in Leo energy popping off with Mercury, who's fresh in this Capricorn energy. Typically speaking, fire and earth, if not balanced, we're going to have a little bit of a shit show take place here. Of course, the moon in Leo energy, we're bold, we're brave, we're courageous. We want to kind of go out into the world. We want to take action. We want to make moves that are fulfilling this new passion, this new desire, this new motivation, this new inspiration within us. But of course, Mr. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, he's in Capricorn energy right now, a cardinal earth sign. Do we make any sudden movements? No. Do we take action without thinking about the long-term consequences? No. Do we have to really think very carefully and thoroughly about the logic, the practicality on the steps, on the plan, on the strategy that we want to take action on? Yes. This is why this is not a good interaction, because it's illuminating where our heart wants one thing, but our head is pumping the brakes and saying, nope, we got to think long term about this. We really have to think about the details about this. We have to get very serious about the actions in which we want to take. And of course, that really kind of stunts the growth, if you will, of that fire energy now building in our heart space. To add a little bit more discomfort to this particular interaction, we're going to have the moon now in this Leo energy make a difficult interaction with Saturn. So Saturn, of course, who just rules over the Capricorn energy that Mercury just moved into, by the way. Mr. Saturn is the Lord of Karma. He rules over roles and responsibilities, structures, foundations, willpower, discipline, because all of those things are needed in order for us to actually see our goals, our visions, our dreams through. Now, Saturn being in this Pisces energy, we just went direct in this Pisces energy not too long ago. It's still a very low, slow moving planet. We are kind of building up in this new discipline, in this new willpower, understanding what is required of us to kind of boss up, take the reins, so to speak, in this new karmic chapter, in these new roles and responsibilities. The moon interacting with Saturn in this way, again, going to really kind of bring us down just a tad. Now, again, a little bit of a negative Nancy, Debbie Downer type of mood and attitude taken over here, but it is necessary. That moon in Leo wants to just take action, make moves, wants to fully express themselves, really wants to put ourselves out there, be seen, be heard, just making moves for the sake of activity. Saturn, of course, is pumping the brakes and saying, no, 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 no. You need a path, you need a plan, you need a strategy, okay? We're not out here doing things willy-nilly, flying by the seat of our pants, okay? We really have to take the time to slow our roll down, think very carefully about the path, the plan, the strategy that is needed in order for us to be successful. But of course, that kind of stunts the growth and takes the excitement, the passion, the inspiration out of the moon being in this Leo energy, trying to get us to boss up, to be bold and brave and courageous enough to take action and make moves. So again, we're kind of seeing where it is that emotionally speaking, the mood, the attitude that we're in, kind of being snuffed out by the long-term logic and practicality that is needed in order to structure the right path and plan to actually move forward. Now we get a little bit of help here because the moon in Leo energy going to make a very positive interaction with Uranus, the great awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. What this is going to do, first of all, Uranus being retrograde in this Taurus energy is trying to show us where it is that we're kind of resisting the changes that we know that we need to make, where it is that we're kind of holding on to the past very tightly, not very sure or trusting that what we let go of, what we surrender, what we release will be filled with something better in its place. So of course, Uranus is kind of shaking us, if you will, saying, come on, you got to get out of your own way. You got to let go of the past. You got to let go of what it is that you've already built, already created, because you've outgrown it. It is not serving a purpose to push you outside of your comfort zone and to actually grow and expand on what it is that you've already done, what it is that you've already built, and what it is that you've already brought to life. So the moon interacting with Uranus in this way, this is a shock. This is a shift. This is disruption to that earlier funk that we were sitting in and really positioning us to have an aha moment, where it is that we're having an epiphany, where it is that there are little tiny puzzle pieces snapping together to reveal to us the path, the plan, the strategy in our physical realm of where it is that we do have to take action and make moves, where it is that we do have to be bold, brave, and courageous enough to cut the cord with the past, to really let ourselves release to the cosmos and give the cosmos permission to remove anything that is not serving our growth and our evolvement. This is actually a good interaction. It's really revving us up in the right kind of way. It's giving us a different perspective, mood, and attitude to actually work with. Now, the last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in this Leo energy, trining, beautiful interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, who of course is in Sagittarius energy. So we have some fire on fire action here, and we love fire energy. Why? First of all, it helps us burn through the cords that we have to the past, those attachments that we're desperately holding on to. We have more of a spark, a fire, a flame to kind of understand where it is that we do have to release ourselves from the constructs, the restrictions of the environment, the circumstances that the old version of self has built. Then we get to kind of regenerate ourselves. We get to renew our excitement. We get to really test our, I'm going to say, creative life force energy. Mars is here wanting to take action, especially on the big ideas that we're having. The moon in Leo energy, again, really revving us up to really step out of what once was and put us in a situation to go after what it is that we want now, what it is that our heart and soul is asking us to pursue. The moon and Mars interacting in this way is a huge amount of growth in our inner realm. A huge amount of excitement now percolating, creative force energy now percolating, inspiration and motivation now being downloaded within us, preparing us to take action, preparing us to make moves, of course, to move away from what it is that we've outgrown and gain a little bit of a closer proximity and distance to these new learning chapters, this new path, this new potential, these new areas of karma where new roles, responsibilities, soul contracts, and timelines are awaiting us to unfold.